Welcome back to Plot Twist Street, where one tiny secret can turn a whole village into a war zone, and one person who looks innocent can be made into the killer in the blink of an eye. Tonight, we're heading to Emmerdale, where Moira Dingle is dragged straight into a nightmare, not because she did something wrong, but because someone has been building a perfect trap and waiting for her to step into it. It starts like a punch you never see coming at Butlers Farm. The police arrive, faces cold, voices clipped, and then they drop a sentence that freezes the entire house. While searching the land, they've discovered 2 bodies. And it gets worse. Those bodies were found on Moira and Kane's property. Can you imagine that feeling? You're living your life, trying to keep things together, and suddenly someone digs up the ground beneath you, and what they uncover comes with handcuffs. Kane reacts like Kane, hard, unshakable. He insists the bodies have nothing to do with them, and there's no way he'd be stupid enough to hide something like that on his own land. But the law doesn't care about vibes, or logic, or loyalty. D.S. Walsh doesn't waste time. He looks at Moira, reads her rights, and arrests her on suspicion of murdering 2 persons unknown. Watching Moira get cuffed and marched away isn't just humiliating, it's the moment her whole family fractures in public. Kyle, Maddie, and Victoria stand there stunned, like they've witnessed a crash but forgot how to scream. Word spreads fast. Within minutes, the Dingles know. Moira's been arrested. And while everyone's still reeling, Maddie says the one thing the audience is already yelling at the screen: "Stop wasting time on my mum. Go find Celia." Because if there's one person who has brought Moira nothing but grief lately, it's Celia Daniels. To Maddie, Celia isn't just trouble. She's the source, the spark behind the whole fire. At the station, Kane turns into a one-man defense team. He stands firm, declares they're innocent, and points the finger exactly where it belongs: Celia. His logic is brutally simple. If someone wanted to frame you, they'd pick the one place you can't escape from, your own land. Either Moira and Kane are being set up, or there's something even darker buried under this story. Then D.S. Walsh drops the first evidence, like a lock snapping shut. A photo of a blanket. Something so ordinary it barely feels real next to the words, "murder investigation." But that's what makes it terrifying, because it means that the person behind this wasn't sloppy. They were precise. They weaponized the smallest, most forgettable detail and turned it into a noose. Moira stares at the image, and suddenly her memory flashes like headlights in the dark. She remembers Celia offering so sweetly to take some of her belongings to a charity shop. It sounded helpful, kind, normal. But now the pieces click into place. Celia took that blanket to place it exactly where it needed to be, so it could become evidence that points straight back at Moira. And that's when Moira realizes what Celia has really been doing for months. Not creating random chaos, but building a case. One document, one clue, one planted detail at a time, carefully arranged, so when the police finally arrived, they'd see a complete story with Moira at the center of it. Moira isn't just scared now. She's furious, and suddenly crystal clear. She insists Celia planted the papers, set up fake business links, forged the trail, and created evidence designed to implicate her. She demands the police bring Celia in for questioning, because if they question the right person, the whole thing collapses. And this is the moment Plot Twist Street twists the knife. D.S. Walsh looks at Moira and delivers the sentence that turns her blood to ice. Celia can't be questioned, because Celia is one of the bodies they found. That one revelation doesn't just shock Moira, it seals the trap shut. It turns the framer into the victim, and it turns Moira into the only person left to blame, because the mastermind is no longer on the board. And when the one who built the stage is dead, the ropes hanging from the ceiling don't disappear. They tighten around whoever was chosen to take the fall. But the nightmare still isn't finished. D.S. Walsh comes back with even more devastating news. Moira's DNA was found on the blanket. Combine that with the other criminal activity Celia has arranged to look like Moira's, paper trails, forged evidence, the whole setup, and suddenly the picture looks horrifyingly complete. Moira isn't just being questioned anymore. She's formally charged with the murders of Celia and the second victim, Anya Barisha. And do you see the cruelty of the trap? If Celia were alive, Moira could point to her, confront her, pull her into the light. But Celia being dead makes everything she left behind feel objective. cold, official. And once evidence is in the police file, emotion and logic and heartfelt innocence start to sound weak. So now the real question is, what does Moira do when the person who framed her is no longer alive to expose? Who else knew what Celia was doing? What was Celia's endgame? Why create a final move that turns Moira into the perfect scapegoat? Can Kane find the one thread that unravels the entire story? And most importantly, did Celia miss something? One detail she couldn't erase that could save Moira before it's too late. Because now it's a race against time. Prove she's innocent before the system locks her away. In Emmerdale, sometimes you don't have to do something evil to be punished. You just have to be standing in the exact spot someone else chose for you, right above the trap they buried. Schedule: Emmerdale airs weeknights at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and streams on ITVX. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watch.